immediately just threw my brother. I was like, "Yes, Peter, talk to him." All right, so hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Crook and Murder. But today I'm actually Murder has stepped out for an episode. He'll
He
be
had to go
back.
murder someone.
Yeah, he literally got murdered. But he'll be back as a ghost in like 2 weeks. So, so today we have Spider Dude from the Stone Gauntlet subbing in for him, effectively making this the Crook and Spider uh, um, episode. And of course, you know me as Kenny Crook Irish. You probably know me as the guy in the grocery store. That
The guy from
was
Fortnite.
the
No.
guy from Fortnite who buys 25 levels because he doesn't have enough time to play Fortnite. I am joined today by Spider Dude.
Hello, everybody. I'm back, and I totally know what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's, that's confidence right there, guys. And as always, but not really, I am joined today by special guest Alex.
Correction. Special guest, Alex.
what's the deal with the second special?
Because we already have another special guest in Spider Dude. So I'm special guest, Alex,
So you're like
today.
the more special guest, Alex.
I just get bumped down to second priority.
Oh my god, you totally did. It could have been the Crook and Alex episode, but you're you're special guest, Alex.
Yeah, because I'm always a special guest. I'm never here permanently. So I'm special guest, Alex, today.
So today we're going to be talking about the curious case of the pyramids. I decided to research this because I got tired of everybody saying, I don't know how the pyramids are built, or what's up with the Egyptians, and then blaming it on fucking aliens again.
Spoiler alert. They were built by aliens.
They were not built by aliens.
They were
Hey,
definitely
man,
built by
Dr.
aliens.
Daniel Jackson proved it all. They were landing pads for great alien ships that came down and enslaved the world.
Stargate is not a documentary. Look,
Stargate is 100% a documentary. Are you serious?
you fucking
Dr. Daniel Jackson got ascended. He was communing with the ancients, which, as we all know, are just humans from millions and millions of years ago.
so
Just saying.
Science.
Fact.
anyway, the real pyramids were not built by aliens.
They
Because
were.
later on in the episode, we're going to show you that there's a very real possibility that humans did it. And if the aliens were involved, they're probably the Enochian race, which all those non-fucking alien heads out there is the alien race that kind of just sits back and watches humanity, much like Stargate. But that's not like that's
Nothing like Stargate.
that's not
What are you talking about?
that's not the point. They just kind of sat there and ruled over the kings that ruled over the people. Um, but they didn't really interject themselves that much. And what we're gonna find later in the episode is if they were there, they were kind of dickheads because they didn't help at all. With that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Spider Dude, who is gonna kick this off.
Let's go. So, like the beginning, spanning the entirety of the globe across many years, pyramids were archaeological
Archaeological.
You're fired.
wonders of the. I told you, I'm gonna sterilize wonders of the ancient world that have left many researchers puzzled as how they were built and their significance. In today's
Well,
discussion, we plan on deep diving some of the mysteries of the monolithic structures.
So, pyramids were wonders of the ancient world. And the seven wonders of the ancient world, talking about like the fucking library of Alexandria, we're talking about the Hanging Gardens, of Babylon. The pyramids were right there with it because at the time they were the tallest structures on the planet. the Egyptian ones. Listen, guys, there is a shit ton of information on pyramids. We're focusing primarily on the Egyptian ones today.
Wait, there's more?
We
Oh,
yeah, we'll get to
Huh.
that.
oh yeah,
Put that in your back pocket
yeah.
and wait for it.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Okay. Ancient structures built by many different cultures to represent a spiritual tomb and a decent ascent into the afterlife, and or a monument to the gods.
Yeah, to the Gould.
Not Stargate.
Yes, I'm telling you, man, they were built by parasitic aliens hosting people, and they were built as big landing pads so their ships could land on planet Earth. Telling you, Stargate nailed it, man.
Do not
We'll
cite
see.
this podcast in your research paper for college, because if you cite Alex, you will be wrong.
No, it's
Well,
fully
also, I think it would be
information.
plagiarism because you'd be citing, I think, MGM Studios, who owns the rights to Stargate. So, yeah.
The origins of the word, much like the structure themselves, is shrouded in a mystery. However, there are multiple theories on how it came to be. The Egyptian hieroglyph or pyramid is
I
commonly
think,
written as Mir,
yeah.
Mir, or Pir, Pir,
Pymar.
Pima, Pymir.
Pymar. Pymar. It's I look. Speaking ancient Egyptian is kind of hard, so it's okay.
I mean, the
Abracadabra.
last
There
one
you
could
go.
also just be said is that Great Scent by Anchorman Panther. It was Panther, right? Nasty ass like perfume he had, like man cologne.
Well, 80% of the time it works all the time.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. Oh shit.
Okay, okay, meaning of mirror is unclear as the word self-references the built object. Typical translation of it, though, means high place. Wouldn't that just be the meaning? I'm sorry, I had to point that out.
So that's what it means by its self references. Like, the reason why it's difficult to track down the actual name of the pyramids is because the pyramids reference themselves. And, like, a lot of linguistic stuff, you can be like, this means this. But with pyramid, it only refers to pyramid. So that's why it's hard to go, hey, what was the root of this word? Because theory is that it was created at this time for this specific meaning.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
so the word was literally invented for pyramids.
Yeah, it
Okay.
Yeah.
wasn't a root of like some other word that came from another culture.
Okay, cool. Cool. I'm now learning stuff. Mirror is also uses the same sign as Ben, which is the primordial mound, an
Primordial.
Primordial.
important primordial mound, an important concept in Egyptian religious practices. Yeah, no.
You're doing
No,
good,
you
my
got
man.
it. You
Yeah, good
nailed
job,
it.
buddy. Thank you. Um, what that's saying is that like Ben and the primordial mound and the pyramid were all from the same family. I believe, and I could be wrong, but the hieroglyphic for pyramid was the same as Ben, which is the same, which references the primordial mound in the Egyptian culture. In the Egyptian culture, the primordial mound is basically the silt left over from the Nile after it floods the plains. Do you have a
I was
question?
gonna ask what that. Yeah, no, you answered it. That's exactly what I was gonna ask. Is that something that they created themselves? It's just like mounds of dirt and sand, but it sounds like it came from, yeah, when the Nile flooded and it receded, it left mounds where it like pushed silt and dirt and stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what
Okay.
they noticed was from these mounds sprung life, because life and dirt create or water and dirt essentially create life for the Egyptians. because when the Nile flooded, it's a big event for them. That's when their soil was fertile. That's when they could fucking sow their crops and shit. So what they concluded was from the dirt comes life, and to the dirt must return life. That's why the primordial mound is such a big thing for them, because they see it as not only life itself, but rebirth and death. And we're actually going to
Yes.
get into that soon.
The old adage, eat shit.
In a nutshell, yes. All right, so the shape of the pyramids, Micah. What you got?
A structures whose outer surfaces are triangle and covered on a single point at the top. The base of the pyramid can be trilateral or quadrilateral, or
Quadrilateral.
quadrilateral, thank you, or any polygon shape. Always has at least 4 faces, including the base. Most common version is the square version. Should go without saying, but the majority of the weight is closer to the ground means less material is pushing down from above. This distribution of weight allowed early civilizations to create monolithic structures.
So in the early days, they didn't have like fucking titanium and steel that we have nowadays. What they were creating was essentially the fucking a way to balance the weight. Like if you build so high back then, it's gonna topple. But what they found with pyramids is that you can disperse the weight of the pyramid across its base and create bigger structures. And that's why I think you see them in a lot of other cultures than the Egyptians, because they were the very first fucking structure you can build that could be a lot bigger than like just a dirt house, you know,
You've never seen my dirt house.
or my Minecraft dirt house. I mean, yeah, yes. Nowadays, I guess we can make giant dirt houses,
Yeah.
but back then, this was their
It's my
idea of
hobbit hole.
your hovel hole. This is their idea of a skyscraper. Even
Ah,
and a hobbit hole goes into the ground, Alex.
Yeah, but it's like a mound on top, I guess, built into like a hill. It's very economical, to be honest with you. Honestly, we should all be living in hobbit holes. I don't know why we haven't figured that one out yet. Well, it's too late now. We've already raped the land for everything it could give us, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about the follies of mankind.
I mean, we haven't fucked the land for its holes yet. That's what's next. All right, what you got, Micah?
For 1,000 of
For thousands of
years,
years.
thousands of years, sorry,
No worries.
of years, the pyramids were the largest structures on the planet. First, the Red Pyramid in Dashar Necropolis. Sounds like
That's pretty good.
Metropolis, but I mean, it's not Superman, right? Then the Great Pyramid of Khufu. Both of these were in Egypt. Side note, the Dashar necropolis was like a training ground for Egyptians. The Mount of
Or
Pyramids.
Superman, apparently.
Yeah.
Superman.
It's like the secret name of Metropolis. It's hidden there. Don't worry.
I never really realized how close Metropolis sounds to Necropolis. I wonder if that's like intentional.
Maybe.
Uh,
Never.
no, I don't think it is. I think polis is just the Latin root for like a group of people. So it's metro, like big, big population, metropolis. All
Okay.
right, no, yeah,
No,
just
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I got nothing to add to that. You outsmarted me.
Well, I mean, he does that all the time, but
Oh,
oh,
oh.
shit.
All right.
Okay. Okay. The amount of pyramids they're allotted them the known how to switch from step-sided pyramids to smooth-sided ones.
That's a weird sentence, Kirby.
Okay, so basically the amount of pyramids at the necropolis like gave them the ability to transition from step-sided pyramids to smooth-sided ones. In other words, the ancient pyramids that we know of with steps were the actual beginnings. They're the prototype pyramids. The
Yeah.
smooth-sided ones came about much later, after all this training in Dashore, because it
So
allowed them. Go on.
I have a competing theory that really the step-sided pyramids were shaved by the aliens' lasers into smooth-sided ones.
That makes no fucking sense. Why
Wow.
wouldn't they do it to every one of them?
To keep the mystery alive?
I fucking no. they, they trained on the fucking step-sided pyramids, and then they learned how to smooth them out. And there's an actual reason behind it that's not just aliens that we will talk about in a bit.
I'm so glad that I've turned into the non-skeptic. I'm glad to play that role.
Ultimately, their knowledge allowed them to build the Great Pyramid of Giza for the ruler Khufu in 2589-2566
BC. So
BC. Okay,
this is old as shit. Like
you should have added BC.
I know it looks a little weird, but yeah, you're counting down. And that's going from 2589 to 2566 DC.
What are
No,
you
BC.
laughing about?
It's BC, the last of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Um, in other words, when they created this, this was one of the seven wonders because it was that fucking big.
I also, if we could, moving forward, just because of my religious needs,
Oh my
we
god.
could please use, if we could please use BCE and CE for Common Era instead of before Christ, that would be fantastic.
Sure. We'll use
I put down
BCE.
DC.
Wait, so what is C what so CE means common error?
So CE is Common Era, which is like post Jesus, and BC is before Christ. So BCE is before Common Era, CE is Common Era, and then BC is, I think it's before Christ, and then AD is Anno Domini, which is Latin for in the year of the Lord. So BC
Oh.
and AD were originally used to distinguish between like before Jesus and after Jesus, because you know Jesus superstar, right? Fucking asshole, and the ego on that guy. And so yeah, if we could just do BCE and CE, that would, I wouldn't have to go to the Supreme Court and try to shape the will of the people around my own ideal. So that would be fantastic.
All right, we will use BCE or just DC because that sounds kind of cool. Because
Well, what does DC stand for?
Batman. And I will fight people over that.
Okay. After the Great Pyramid of Giza, other pyramids following it gradually decreased in size while being built. This is likely due to the decline of power and wealth of the pharaohs themselves after this period. Or they just got
Yeah.
lazy, I mean.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. The Goa'ulds took humans away as slaves to populate the rest of the world, like the universe, the galaxy, and so they didn't have enough manpower to build these, giant landing
I
pads.
think I think
Makes sense, makes sense.
Khufu was like the Trump of Egypt, where it's just like my pyramid is going to be the biggest pyramid you've ever seen. It's the best pyramid, the biggest, the bestest of all the pyramids.
Yeah, see, but the problem is he actually did it. Trump doesn't do shit. Trump doesn't have the biggest of anything, or the largest of anything, or the best of anything. At least this motherfucker actually managed it.
Well, yeah, he did. I mean, it only costs 20 years and tons and tons and tons of bodies. But yeah, he got the fucking pyramid up.
I'm just saying, in history, what didn't cost a bunch of bodies?
All right, so the purpose of the pyramids. Now, this is where it's going to get a little heavy. So I'll do my best to explain it as
Dangerous.
we go through.
Don't forget dangerous. It's all about the adventure.
It's all about the adventure, guys.
Dun, 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 dun.
Each pyramid of each culture had its own significant meaning and symbolism, but they were built either as burial chambers or to glorify their gods/rulers. Burial mounds. The Egyptians attributed the emergence and development of life to small piles of fertile soil that popped up when the waters of the annual Nile flood descended. The birth of the world therefore begins from the primordial
Primordial.
hill from which the sun rose from the first time, thus beginning the creation of life as we know it. Birth and rebirth was seen as the same thing for Egyptians. All pyramids were built on the west side of the Nile banks to symbolize death and the setting sun.
Yeah, because the sun rose on the fucking east side of the Nile and descended on the west. So they saw it as combined with the primordial mounds that the Nile represented birth and rebirth. It's like literally the circle of life from the Lion King. And so they would
The
put
circle of life.
their pyramids on the west side to symbolize that because that's where they buried uh, who they considered gods, their pharaohs, or in Alex's case, fucking aliens.
Goa'uld, to be exact. Parasitic worms that live inside of you. Basically, hookworm. I mean, essentially, that's what they went on.
I mean, I would totally have a hooker worm for sure.
That sounds real nasty, bud.
Okay,
That sounds
well,
real nasty.
all when in Thailand, all right. But
It's the only
anyway,
thing you can get.
all right, that's a burn. I'll take it. All right, Micah, you are up. What's next?
The pyramids were a place of resurrection, hill and house for eternity, are one. It was a representation of the primordial underground, the tomb, and the celestial.
Primordial. So it's like primordial.
Primordial. I try to remember that. I might forget about it like next 5 seconds.
No, you're good, dude.
Egyptians viewed the stars as gateways into the netherworld or the nether realm. No,
You my nether realm. All right, sorry.
The Minecraft realm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty close to, I guess, Egyptian, because it is called the Nether Realm. You know, and you do go
Mhm.
through an ancient portal to get to it.
Yep. The steps of the pyramid are seen as a stairway, so the royal deceased would use them to find afterlife easier as if they send the steps into the heavens. Aren't these like blocks huge?
I just gotta say, cue Stairway to Heaven. 7-minute break. See you guys soon.
Actually, that would have been a great fucking beginning song. Shit.
But Micah, they were huge, and I think we get into that further down, like how
Oh,
big these blocks of stone were.
Oh
okay.
yeah, they're fucking big, and they expected the ghosts of the pharaohs to just kind of like walk up them.
So big, in fact, some argue human beings wouldn't have been able to move them.
except for archaeologists and scientists and everybody that's proven that wrong.
Yeah, well, Dr. Daniel Jackson says otherwise.
Is that the dude that played MacGyver in Stargate?
What? No, that's Colonel O'Neill, you dickface.
Okay,
Okay,
so the later smoother sides.
the later smoother sides represented the rays of the sun and were designed to help the pharaoh's soul reach heaven faster.
Yeah,
Wouldn't they just slide down it?
well, no, because this isn't the
Oh,
Burger
shit,
King
that got me
playpen.
good. That was unexpected. Oh man, they just slide down it. I'm with Micah on this one. They just
They're fucking ghosts, guys. They're not like sitting there as mummies trying to walk up the goddamn pyramids. That'd be
Oh,
I would.
impossible. I mean,
Well, I mean, there's stairs up to a flat area where you could just go. Perfect slide.
slip and slide, baby. Where's the hose?
there's probably a pharaoh or two that got to the top and was like, "I'm sliding down this bitch."
Okay. It's probable that this concept was reflected in some tombs in the proto-dynastic period where the superstructure was covered by a mound of dirt, thus symbolizing rebirth from death to life.
Yeah, it's the same concept as the Egyptian idea of death, which is rebirth. You know, they they saw their pharaohs as gods, and when they died, they took basically the stairway to heaven directly to their idea of the judgment god, where they would sit there and judge the pharaohs and how they ruled over their people.
Okay. The monuments to glorify the pharaohs and the gods. That sounds like a lot like a title, but it's fine.
That is a
The
pretty good title.
Egyptians saw their pharaohs as somewhere between a god and a man, and man. They were believed to be chosen by the gods to serve as their emissaries on
Emissaries.
Earth. Emissaries, okay.
So
On Earth.
basically, they were chosen by the gods to sit there and speak for them. You know, like the priests that run the Catholic Church claim that they're chosen by God to speak, to have God speak through them. You know, and that's how the people saw the Pharaoh. Like church and state were very much intertwined in Egyptian politics.
God speaks through me, and he
About
says, "I love all my children."
On my now.
yeah, and
Oh,
Catholic priests definitely love their children. I mean, that's come to light a couple times.
zinger.
Boom, boom. All right.
Okay. When they died, they became Osiris, god of dead, while the new pharaoh became Horus, the falcon god who served Ra, the sun god. Who helped Khonshu? I need to know that. I learned this from Moon Knight. Where's Khonshu?
Damn it! Where's Oscar Wilde when we need him? Or Oscar Isaac. Oscar Wilde is totally different person.
Oscar Wilde.
Totally different person than Oscar Isaac.
Maybe
That's
Oscar
my bad.
Isaac is just the reincarnation of Oscar Wilde.
That would
Very
be dope.
And he's
new
also Moon
favorite
Knight,
actor in
so
the house.
dude, he's pretty sick, and
Yeah.
he did a fucking amazing job, uh, like playing Moon Knight. He did a great
Just
job.
out of,
Oh, go on.
yeah, I was just gonna say, just a little tangent here. Honest opinions. Like I liked Oscar Isaac too in Moon Knight, but overall as a show, did you guys like Moon Knight?
Yes, I loved it. I enjoyed it. For me,
Yeah,
at least.
I think it was a pretty decent show for like the 3 episodes I saw. I still have to
Okay.
finish it. Um, it wasn't. I mean, okay, it wasn't on par with like Andor, in my
But
opinion.
yeah.
Because
I
Andor,
just thought the story was really I don't want to say haphazard. No, I guess haphazard. The story for me was really I think it was too short for the story that they were trying to tell. And they really
That is fair.
I feel like it would have benefited if it was cuz I think it's only 6 episodes, right? 7?
it is
I
too
don't
short.
remember.
And I think it would have benefited from being a longer series cuz I really feel like they rushed a lot of stuff for how big the story they wanted it to be, and I don't know. But that's just my 2 cents. But that's a tangent. That was
I
I
think
mean,
Oscar Isaac to me is kind of like fucking Idris Elba. You know, I wish he was in everything. I
that is
wish
true.
I wish they would bring Moon Knight into the fucking, MCU proper. Because
Again, another quick tangent, but did you see that Idris Elba is gonna be in the new Cyberpunk expansion?
really,
Yes,
I hope he's happy
and
about
I'm
it too.
so excited for it.
I know, like when he went from playing fucking what's his name? I'm not even gonna say it because I've completely blanked. It's one of the most prominent
Luther?
fucking no political like leaders of our time.
I hate to be the one who does this,
Denzel
but
Washington?
I
No.
love talking about Moon Knight, like all the movies and stuff. We were going off track.
Oh my god.
Like I said, I hate this. I hate to be the one who did that, but
Micah just reined us in. Good job,
Yeah, that
Micah.
is true. Alright, go ahead.
sorry, it's just I hate being the one to do that.
No, no,
Like,
you're
You
good, you're
you
good.
are 100% correct to do that, dude. You are the leader of the podcast right now.
I didn't know I was the leader. Now there's much more pressure. Okay, I got this.
Don't let it go to your head. go, go
Bossing us around.
on.
Okay, the tomb is seen as the residence of deceased and contains everything necessary for their survival. They believe that when a pharaoh dies, part of his spirit is left in his body. To help preserve the spirit, everything he would need was left with him. That was kind of like a repeat, but it's fine. Again, I love
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it. This included a mummified body, gold vessels, food, furniture, and other offerings. The pyramids
And
were
people
essentially
sometimes.
yes.
Actually, yeah. They buried them a lot with their relatives and their slaves and Rebel Stream says Spider Dude for president. Uh they buried them
Oh,
a lot
thanks.
with the people that matter to the pharaoh, even if it's at the detriment of those people. Like they would literally die inside these tombs to
I was
keep.
just about to say, what do you mean, even if it was at the detriment? Of course it was at the detriment. You're literally being encased alive in something you can't get out of.
And you have no
Fucking
control over. Like they're like you have to spend eternity partying with a part of this guy's soul in this empty, desolate tomb. Have fun.
Yeah, it's like when Bender had his pyramid done.
Yeah.
One of the greatest episodes of Futurama.
Oh, the pyramids were essentially a cult of a dead king, which was supposed to carry on well after his death. The riches left behind were to support not only the pharaoh, but also the officials, priests, and relatives buried near him. Other civilizations built them as temples to house the gods. They were built with a flat top to house the temple itself.
Yeah, so basically other civilizations they weren't necessarily burial chambers. They would have steps leading up to a flat top, and on the flat top is where the house of the god would exist. So they would leave offerings at the pyramids themselves. These were usually much smaller than fucking Egypt Trump's pyramid, uh, but they they're still like everywhere, and it's kind of crazy how many civilizations adopted the idea of a pyramid, fucking deigning their gods.
Hmm. Pyramids were also a symbol of the pharaoh's power and authority, a lasting symbol as the pyramids are still very much part of our current culture. They are meant to inspire both awe and reverence in face of such towering behemoths. Some believe that the shape of the pyramid was meant to funnel energy from the universe itself into the corpse of the pharaohs, thereby granting them everlasting life.
And this was somewhat true. Like we're about to find out in the slight next section, that there is a weird sort of energy surrounding the pyramids.
Well, you
Kind
know what's
of,
interesting? It's also kind of true just in the sense of like they're not forgotten even thousands of years ago. Like Khufu, we know it's his pyramid, right?
mhm.
So in some sense, that's everlasting life.
I mean,
We're
technically,
still
yes. Like
we're still talking about that motherfucker.
I can imagine, America falling like 1,000 years in the future, and they would just brush over us. They'd be like, George Washington did this. Here's some of the famous presidents, blah blah blah. But Khufu will always be fucking talked about because he built a monument to himself that was taller than anything else on the planet at that time.
You know what makes me really sad about that sentiment is they're going to be talking about like AT&T Stadium or like
The
like
Verizon
fucking
Center.
the Verizon Center, man. They're gonna be like, man, this dude Verizon, he was huge. He had his name plastered all over this Coliseum. I'm gonna be rolling over my grave, being like, damn you, capitalism.
You know what's even more fucked up? I was talking with this girl at my office the other day, and we were chatting about new age like texting techniques, and I came to the realization that humanity has gone full circle. Like we've gone past the written words and back into hieroglyphics by using
Yeah,
fucking emojis.
emojis. Yeah, that is true. Or memes or gifs or something using pictures, some type of picture to convey meaning. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, totally not me.
So 1,000 years from now, they might not even be talking about "Can you hear me now?" They might be talking about like the crying face emoji, followed by a cucumber and a splash of wet.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ.
But go on,
Although
Micah.
I did want to say for the sentence where it funnels energy, that kind of reminds me of a prism,
Yeah.
where like you shine the light through it and
Oh,
it creates the rainbow around it.
See,
Kind of like
here
you
really
said,
good.
there's an energy around it. So
pyramids are still alive today, and we see them in like little prisms. We see them in like trinkets and shops. We see them in like cult shit. Like the fucking Evil West has an upside down pyramid. 1899 has an upside down pyramid. Like they're still very much seen a symbol of power. 1,000, like over fucking 4,000 years later. Like this started somewhere in the fucking 2000 BCE era, and we're still talking about them here in the 2000 AC or AD or whatever the fuck.
uh, healing powers. Spiritualists believe that pyramids are a source of profound biological and spiritual effects. They believe that the structure of pyramids has a positive effect on the very atoms of our body. Experts have discovered that the Great Pyramid of Giza can focus electromagnetic energy in its internal chambers and base, can create pockets of high energy in its inner rooms.
So, yes, Alex and Rabble Stream just said it on the fucking on the Twitch stream. Aliens could have been involved. Maybe.
Just saying.
Maybe that because these monumental structures are so aligned with like the stars of the universe that they do tend to create weird pockets of electromagnetic energy around them. They
We
funnel
have over
energy.
200 episodes of a documentary show telling us it was aliens about a
Okay, it's not
ragtag
Stargate.
human force of special forces Air Force people that Air Force soldiers that combated these aliens. All
Okay,
right, I'm just saying, we have it all on camera.
that's That's anyway. Stargate is not a documentary.
Why do you think their acting is so bad? It's just because they were shy in front of the camera. They're not natural actors. They're soldiers.
You know what? You're probably right. Like, like, no, Stargate is not a documentary. Yes, aliens could have been involved. Probably not in the way that you think.
Well,
No,
so on a serious note, then do you know in any of your research do they have any theories of why it focuses electromagnetic? Like, is it something to do with like the stone that it's made of, or like where they were built, or anything like that?
no.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
aliens.
personally come across it. And if aliens made the pyramids, they did it in a very stand backish kind of way. And that's why I'd say if they were involved, they were dickheads because we're about to find out very soon that human beings could 100% do this.
All right, go ahead, Micah.
If you think about it though, I actually just kind of learned this in class. With gravity, it kind of creates a magnetic pull around itself depending on the weight of things. And since pyramids are like pure rock and dirt and stuff, dirt and rock have that a much weight to it that it could be that reason too,
Dude,
creating its own
blown
magnetic
open.
field with gravity.
Dude, Spider Dude,
Nailed
the
it.
science guy.
All right, I have a new theory. Micah has a time machine and went back in time, and he is Khufu.
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
no,
got it.
no, no.
What? Hold on a second. It's like saying I'm Spider-Man.
Every single person on the planet knows Khufu was very obviously King the Conqueror.
King the Conqueror. Wait, is that another Marvel reference?
Wait a
DC
minute.
reference? Who's King the Conqueror?
You know what?
Now I'm
You
lost.
just
Are we
lost your
are we in a
reader. You
serious
just lost
moment?
your reader. I gotta go.
King the Conqueror, as a side note for all you non-nerds out there, is the next Thanos
Alex.
coming up.
Oh
King
shit, I didn't know that.
King is from the year 4000. He's Reed Richards' descendant, and he developed time travel. He also has armor that's impenetrable by any modern day Avenger, so he went back into time and slowly manipulated it to his advantage. And it became pretty fucking difficult for all the Avengers to stop him. And if you're wondering where you've seen him, Loki, the guy who should not be named or whatever his like name was, he who remains or something, that was King or version of King in the multiverse.
Now they're sending the smallest Avenger to battle him.
Yeah, Ant-Man, that should be fun.
Okay, how are pyramids made? We're in the good part, I think, maybe. In Egypt's pyramid building began in the dynastic era, 2090,
Don't fuck this up.
2950 BCE. Get that right, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. And then the
My God, thank you.
royal tombs were cut into rock and covered with flat-roofed rectangular structures known as mastabases.
Oh God, I want to make a joke so bad, but I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold back.
It's Mustafa's.
I definitely like the way Spider Dude said it. It's so much funnier.
Oh my god, that was good.
To be honest with you, Micah, I've never seen that word either, and I would have probably pronounced it the same way.
Oh fuck, I'm seeing stars. All right, continue.
Okay, I was gonna like try redoing that word, but I'm not gonna redo it because Yeah, oldest known pyramid in Egypt was built around 2630 BCE, known as the Step Pyramid. It began as a what
You
is the
got this. You got this. Don't help them. Are we at a standstill?
Yeah.
It began as a masturbator.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that word.
Masturba. Masturba.
Mastaba.
Masturba.
But grew into something much more. I was trying to figure out a word,
Yo, it
like
grew
a
into
way to say
something
that
much
without.
more. Yeah, it did. After it masturbated a little bit. Oh, God. Oh, God.
It only
Oh,
assembled 6 stepped layers cut of stone, as opposed to previously used mud brick that reached a height of 204 feet.
that's
It literally
really.
was the what?
I said that's really impressive. 204 feet. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, for that time period, yeah, it was pretty
Dude,
crazy.
even now, yeah, but even now, that's what, 20 stories?
I actually don't know. I read a
Roughly? I
lot
mean,
when I was a kid, but not a whole lot
would have,
anymore.
wait, what?
Oh, don't worry, I'm
Alright.
writing stuff down. I forget it like 5 minutes afterwards. So yeah, it literally was the tallest building created at the time. The pyramid was surrounded by a complex of courtyards, temples, and shrines. The step pyramid became the norm of rulers afterwards. Oh, the earliest smooth-sided pyramid slash slide was the Red Pyramid at Dashar 2613 to 2589 BCE, named of the color of limestone blocks used to construct the pyramid core.
I wonder
Or it was
if, like,
died by the blood of sinners.
I wonder
Alright.
if somebody was standing at the top of it. It was just like, hey, man, what if we throw some Nile water down this thing? Could this become
Dude,
a
you
slip
know
and slide?
somebody did.
This
Come
is
on.
this is like the earliest slip and slide.
Dude, having fun doing slip and slides is as old as making dick jokes.
Which is literally in the hieroglyphics. The first dick joke was a hieroglyphic.
Also, if you do want to make your own pyramid, they did make a Lego set of the Pyramid of Giza, I believe. Which is actually pretty cool. It actually
I
looks so good.
will have to say that must be, how do I say this? That must be one of the most boring Lego sets to make because it is just literally all beige colored bricks that you're just literally
Oh my god.
like building a square and then a tinier square and then a tinier square and a tinier square and a tinier square until you just get a pyramid. That must be like, I can't even imagine how fucking boring it is to build that Lego set.
You just get it for Christmas, and you're like, gee, thanks, Mom and Dad. I could have got the fucking Milano, but so glad I got the Pyramid of Giza.
I'm looking this up right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, they have like a little scene in the front with like a, couple slaves slaving over.
I don't Micah, you're the Lego master. Was the Pyramid of Giza fun to make?
Oh, I never made it. I just knew it existed.
so, so there you have it, folks. It's too boring for even the Lego master.
Well, I mean, if you like archiculture, then that's your Lego set. I'm not a big archiculture. So,
I mean, it's 1,500 pieces. I mean, that's no joke.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's 1,500 pieces in slightly smaller squares.
Oh my god, it's even worse than what I thought. Dude, I'm looking at this right now. You should see the pictures. Oh my god, it's got tunnels and chambers inside of it. All right, this might be cooler than I
Wait,
thought.
it has tunnels and chambers, so they actually
Yeah,
include
it
that in
does.
there?
Yes, and you can like split it in half, and you can
Oh,
like look to see. Yeah, okay. All right. You know what? I rescind my statement.
god damn it, Lego, you did it again.
Oh yeah. Also, if you wanted to get I don't know what to call them, Oompa or Pop Curbs, Taj Mahal in Lego, you should definitely get him the Taj Mahal.
You know, the last Lego set I got from my parents was a bonsai tree, and they fucking hated building it to the point where they had to get, because it was so hard to put together, they had to get Micah to come in and help them. I felt so
Doesn't it come
horrible.
with instructions?
It
Well, I
comes with,
mean,
yeah, but the tree snaps in half every fucking 5
yeah,
seconds.
it's a tree. That's what all the trees do in Lego. You experienced it with Venom
So
or
yeah, oh my
Carnage.
god. No, Carnage about made me throw that thing across the room. But fucking their bonsai tree basically just sat there half built. So they had like the base of a bonsai tree and the trunk of a bonsai tree for like about half a year before Mike came down and finished it for them. No, I felt terrible for my mom. But she's got a bonsai tree now, a Lego one.
Yeah.
She can never
Yeah.
change the leaves on it because it'll probably snap in half.
I was
And
just
then I'll
about to
have to
say,
come
I'm like
down there again.
picturing her like literally shaving Legos plastic off of it to trim it.
You literally, it's such a good Lego set though that you sit there and fidget with it. Like you try to make it look a little prettier and better, like you're actually taking care of a bonsai tree. Minus all the extra shit you have to do.
Oh, and it's relatively cheap for a Lego set.
Yeah. So if you hate yourself and want torture, go ahead and buy it.
All right, enough about Legos. We're not getting paid enough by Lego to keep talking about Legos.
But we are happily willing to take your advertisements, Lego, and as long as you
Yes.
send us free sets, starting with the I don't know, Death Star, we're going.
Oh, that
Dude,
would be awesome.
as soon as they hear the first fuck, Lego's gonna be like, nah, we're good.
Yeah. And then Mega Bloks is going to be like, we'll do it.
We're here.
Oh.
Okay, how the
Yeah, the Dollar Tree of Walmart's Mega Bloks. Oh my god.
It's like the Russian version of Legos. It's like, look, here we go. Pyramid. You put 3 blocks together. It's got chamber inside. Anyway, go on, Micah.
how they were made. They were likely built with skilled labor, like Hulk kind of labor if you're talking about it. But I don't know. It's like, bet you they got gamma radiation in them or something. It required impressive.
No, just whiplashes.
Like they were not slaves. It was not slave labor. The pyramids, contrary to popular belief, could not have been built by slaves during the Egyptian times because the pyramids were such a mathematical and astronomical fucking undertaking that they need astronomers, they needed fucking architects, they needed mathematicians, they needed everybody to make sure this thing was
All
squared
right.
away.
I'm just saying, you're telling me at no point were slaves used for hard labor. I
Okay.
understand. Look, I understand you're building the Empire State Building. Yeah, I get it. You need like an architect and mathematicians, with all of this knowledge. But the people that actually build it, man, like welding the metal together, they're getting paid minimum wage.
Okay, yes, to an extent, they had slave labor there, I'm sure, to move the blocks, but the majority of them were skilled laborers of the Egyptian time period. Because you couldn't fuck up the pharaoh's castle, especially after like 20 years of building this thing. If like one piece is slightly off, what are you gonna do?
Normal
My
unravel it.
God,
slide.
how hilarious would that be if the pyramids today, just every single one of them had like just like a fucking weird like one block is like, so instead of being like this, it was like
Just an
like
opposite.
one thing sticking out, and they're just like, oh, it's 20 years down the drain. Like, fuck.
I thought we were going in this direction. What do you mean we're going towards the point?
That kind of reminds me of the Minions. In the Minions movie, they built a pyramid, but they put it upside down. Like they built it upside down, and it killed everybody. And then they were like, "Oh shoot!" and flipped the instructions right side up, and they were like, "Hey, whoops!"
That's so dark. It killed everyone.
I mean, technically
all
they're tombs.
right, keep going, Micah.
Okay, well, he kind of stole the next slide. It says it required impressive astronomical architecture and geometrical knowledge.
Geometrical knowledge.
Geometrical.
That's the mathematicians. Like, these people had to come together and plan this thing and get it to a T. To align with the fucking stars. I want that to be like fucking, set in stone right here. Is they weren't just throwing toilet paper together and calling it a pyramid. They had it aligned with Orion's belt.
Don't make fun of my pyramid made out of toilet paper.
They weren't just chugging Bud Light cans and making the giant pyramid in the room. These guys were planning their shit out.
Okay. Then give these guys a bow, but skeletons unearthed near the site indicate that the workers were native article Egyptian laborers.
Agricultural
Like I said,
Egyptian laborers, which was
like
a
I
high
said,
mark.
give them a bow, and then you'll be fine. Minecraft.
These guys were high in the Egyptian society because
Yep.
they ran agricultural fields. Like that's there's not a whole lot of slave labor going on with the pyramid because they couldn't fuck it up that much.
They worked on the pyramids typically during the time of year when the Nile River flooded much of the land. That's probably where they got the big rocks, which makes sense because hardened mud is actually pretty useful.
Yeah, it's probably easier to transport too.
Yeah. Archaeological evidence suggests that the workforce may have been 20,000 people over the course of 20 years.
Yeah, I think some archaeologist somewhere was just like, it was probably about 10,000 people over the course of 20 years. And everybody else was like, no. That's like
No.
the mathematics of that do not line up. It had to be at least 20,000 people if you're going to do it over the course of 20 years to build something this big.
1,000 people a year.
Yeah.
It involved. Oh wait, and then yeah. Oh wow. Okay, it involved moving huge quantities of stone. Most blocks came from nearby quarries. However, some special stones were brought on barges from distant location. White limestone from Tara, granite from Aswan. In 2013, the Diary of Mir was discovered. This logbook created by an official with the title of inspector documented the transfer of white limestone from Tara along the Nile River to Great Pyramid of Giza. Theoretically, the quarried blocks were then transported along the sands by a wooden sled with wetted sand in the front to reduce friction.
It's important to note here that we have a logbook created by an official of that time period that documented the transfer of this white limestone. Because so many people go, it's impossible to get to the pyramids. How'd they get it to the pyramids? Simple. They ran it along barges on the Nile River, something that could very much be done on that time period.
And once they got to the bank of the Nile and had to move it over the sand, they used a device that like vibrated the molecules of the sand so rapidly that it just moved the bricks over.
No, they didn't. There was no
Oh,
aliens involved.
oh, okay.
Listen,
All right.
this is my biggest fucking this is my biggest thing against aliens right here. If aliens were involved, why were they using barges?
To keep a low profile, bro.
Although you're in Egypt, if a fucking alien is there and you have the backing of the pharaoh to be there, nobody's gonna fuck with you. Plus, if
Well,
you're
the
like,
pharaoh was the alien. That's the whole point. They're parasitic worms that live inside of us. They look just like us, except they have glow eyes and they talk real deep because you got to distinguish who's the bad guy and who's the good guy.
you know what? Cite your research papers off Alex and send them to crookirish.studios@gmail.com and let us know what grade you get.
Ooh, yeah,
Wait,
I
there's a
would love to
grade?
see those.
Alex said they were parasitic creatures from Stargate. No, they weren't. It's very clearly right here a logbook that says we transported the things, and this is what I mean. Like maybe the aliens were there to like develop it. Maybe they were there to like draw out the plans, but they sure as fuck weren't helping them. And that's like why not? And the only reasonable explanation for that is if they were knock-ins, because the knock-ins prefer not to involve themselves in human affairs.
Bastards.
Okay. After being transported, the stones would then be cut close to the pyramid as referenced by the multitude of tools found nearby. Approximately 2.3 million blocks of stone weighing 2.5 tons each had been cut, transported, assembled, and to create the Great Pyramid of Giza. Too bad Minecraft still has more blocks than this. So
Well,
ha.
I gotta say that is the fact of like this whole discussion for me. That is, those are insane numbers for one pyramid.
Okay, maybe the aliens were involved a little bit. I mean,
No, I'm just saying, no, in all seriousness, like that's the fact of like that is impressive. That's insane. 2.3 million blocks of stone weighing 2.5 tons each. That is like the ingenuity to be able to do something like that is unbelievable.
the Egyptians were far more advanced than we give them credit for.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, a lot of ancient civilizations are.
yeah, they had the same brain capacity that we have nowadays, and their mathematics and astronomy and whatnot was actually pretty on point. Um, they were a very, very, very intelligent uh, civilization for its time, and that's the reason why they controlled Egypt for a good thousand couple years. And yes, it could have been aliens.
There we go.
Okay. Finished blocks were placed on the structure using a series of pulleys, and droplets of water were used to fuse them together. That is actually cool that they were actually able to use pulleys. Because were those like the first pulleys, or would those not be the first?
I'd say they're probably some of the earliest uses of pulleys. Um, I don't. I'm sure a caveman somewhere created a pulley at some point, but Egypt used them in spades to move the blocks to the pyramids because they realized
Oh,
that leverage helped them move way more weight than they could carry.
cool. Um, Foundations were then leveled using rough square level water trenches. Experienced surveyors?
Surveyors, like people that survey the land,
Okay, well
they
that sounds like a Pokemon, but I mean,
they had them
I
up.
choose you, surveyor.
Make the pyramid, surveyor. Uh, yeah, no, these guys were like the fucking I mean, we still have land surveyors today. People that go out, try to find the flattest land and all that shit. and figure out where to build upon it. It's an important part of building. Uh, and the Egyptians had them, and that's why it's like I'd have to agree with Murder on this if he were here to be like to say that it was all aliens is to deny the fucking ingenuity of humanity. Because I truly believe that humans are smart enough to pull shit like this off, uh, even during that time period.
Yeah, in all my jest, I mean, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I just think a Dr. Daniel Jackson would disagree, but that's okay.
Okay. Then finally, the outsides of the pyramids were coated with polished, highly reflective white limestone. This was to help them shine better. They must have been super popular back then, like the cool kind, very shiny.
They were basically the Vegas of the desert of Egypt.
The
I mean,
Vegas of the desert.
this is like fucking what's that? What's that place with the giant pyramid? The MGM or something?
I don't remember the name of it.
This is like that place, but all over the place in Egypt. It's shown in the sun after they polished the sides. Like these guys fucking took care of their
The
pyramids.
Luxor
The
Resort
Luxor,
and Casino. The Luxor.
and that's why they're still around today, is because they were built with such intelligence and like such care and such love that they're still standing 4,000 years later.
Hmm. Cool. Cool. And then is it my turn to read again?
Yes.
Okay.
So
What
while
is in
researching, I'm just going to introduce the next topic real quick. But while researching uh, the pyramids, one of the things I wanted to figure out was what exactly was inside of them. So that's what we're going to talk about. That's your cue. Now.
You're welcome. I was like preparing for that, so okay. The insides of the pyramids are a maze of tunnels and chambers. The pharaohs were provided with multiple chambers of leisures in the afterlife. Great Pyramid was a hidden chamber resting above the grand gallery, which is empty, void, not connected to any chamber.
So basically, inside of the Great Pyramid is a hidden chamber, like above the other chambers, and it just sits there and it's empty. And I don't think we know what's inside of it. Fucking there.
The Minecraft void.
The Minecraft void. I mean, for all we know, it could be.
What's the Minecraft void?
You never been to the bottom of Minecraft?
No.
Well, if you dig under the bedrock, there's a giant void of nothingness.
Can you fall into it?
Yes, but you die.
That makes me so happy.
Much like life itself.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, and then the tunnels themselves were very constricted. The chambers are typically small and Spartan. Talk about Halo, but hieroglyphics and burial chambers didn't start until the late Egyptian dynasty.
Yeah,
However, much of the
no, go on. Finish the last sentence.
much of the pyramid structure was just solid stone.
So basically, what it means by like it's Spartan was when you think about the chambers of a pyramid, you think hieroglyphics, you think gold, you think all that shit. But truthfully, it wasn't. It was mostly empty. There weren't hieroglyphics in there until the late Egyptian dynasties. It was just a very barren inside of a fucking, uh, you know, cave inside of a fucking pyramid-shaped structure, and or the whatever it is, the pyramid. Uh, it wasn't until much later that somebody went, "Hey, maybe we should put some fucking wall art up."
Oh,
With some wall art.
Yeah.
Fucking college dorm with fucking shitty ass posters all over the place.
I had a time. machine, I would so join them, but I'd draw modern things in there, and people would be like, "It's Spider-Man." They knew about him all.
I
Dude,
mean,
I'm telling you. Yeah, dude, this is my new theory is that one day in the near future or in the far future, they're going to find a hieroglyph and it's just going to be Spider Dude with like some weird energies emanating from him and we're going to learn that Micah fucking built the pyramids.
just fighting Thanos.
One day, I tell you, one day.
With Minecraft rules underneath with a Z.
Dude.
It's like, huh, they had Minecraft back then in the Egyptian time.
Also, another fun thing about hieroglyphs, a lot of them were about cats. Cats were like a giant, like, I don't know how to say it, but like they were a big part of Egyptian civilization, weren't they?
Uh, yeah, actually, and I didn't really study too much what exactly cats pertain to the Egyptians, but they were a big part, and I think it had something to do with like escorting souls to the afterlife. I would have to look into that a bit more, and maybe I'll do that before the next episode, and just get everybody the that knowledge before we jump into what's coming next.
You should do a random little podcast of hieroglyphs.
I'll just show pictures of emojis and be like, "This is a cucumber, and this is what it stands for."
Okay, Russia. Well, actually, other cultures with the pyramids. Russia. Pyramids on the Coca-Cola Peninsula in
Oh my god.
Russia are believed to be
It's
at
not the
least
fucking
2 times
Coca-Cola
older.
Peninsula. Coca-Cola doesn't own a portion of Russia. It's the Cola Peninsula.
If I'd Cola Peninsula in Russia are believed to be at least 2 times older than
Okay,
Egypt's pyramids.
this is where it gets weird. All right, the pyramids were built somewhere in like the 2589 dynasty, right? Uh, and these pyramids found on the Coca-Cola Peninsula of Russia are believed to be between 9,000 and 40,000 years old.
Hmm.
And it's
I think
like
Russia.
th- this isn't just some fucking like stone built up. It literally is so old that it has like dirt and shit built over it. But they're so fucking difficult to get to that they haven't been able to truly excavate it yet.
Hmm. Calling it right now. Russia was just jealous. No, I'm joking.
For reference, guys, human civilization, the Mesopotamia area, was about 20,000 years ago. That was the
Okay.
beginning of writing for humanity.
Oh, dude, those are dope as shit.
Yeah, they're a little bit older than we know.
Okay. Well, then, like you said, it was between 9,000 40,000 years old. Potentially the oldest pyramids. Again, potentially. Could lend credence to legendary lost island of Hyperborea. The insides of the have gaps and undiscovered rooms. The ancient civilization that built it, the purpose of them, and the how are still unclear as of now.
This could be the oldest civilization that we have on the planet. And it could link to uh, the fucking Tales of Hyperborea, which is like a legendary lost island, kind of along the same lines of like Libertalia and shit like that, that may or may not have existed, and or Atlantis. This could
The
prove its
lost
existence if we were to get in there and excavate it.
You know where else the Stargate program and the Air Force went to
Oh
was
boy.
Atlantis. They have a whole separate documentary just about the city of Atlantis.
Oh, God. We're gonna cover Atlantis at some point.
Oh, just get ready for more Stargate then.
Other places with pyramids: Greece, India, Japan, Peru, Spain, Indonesia, Nigeria, Mesoamerica, Mesopotamia, Rome, Korea, China, Sudan.
All of these places have fucking pyramids, and if you know anything about geography, not all of them are next to each other. It's like these things span the fucking globe. Older, some older than the civilization as we know it, which means maybe Stargate.
Yeah,
maybe,
damn straight, buddy.
maybe just about this little bit. I'll give you that. So now we're
Uh,
we're gonna divulge into the pyramids and ley lines and kind of tie it into our previous episode.
Well, you forgot two other places. You forgot Metropolis. Well, actually, it's only one other place. I just want to say I'm Batman. Comedy.
Okay, you spelled Metropolis wrong, and I'm
I
Batman's not a place.
well, I mean, Batman's a place. I found a place named Batman. Searched up. Um,
Changed my mind.
the Great Pyramids of Giza, aligned with the sun and Earth's surface. Well, of course, it's aligned with Earth's surface. It's on Earth's surface, so I don't see. Also aligned with the stars. They tend to match up well with the Orion's belt. Egyptians believed that stars represented Orion and Isis.
Osiris and Isis. Yep,
Osiris and Isis, yes. And Khonshu. Don't forget about the moon. We can't forget about the moon.
Khonshu. Maybe we'll do an episode on Khonshu, and I'll bring you in specifically as a guest star.
Moon Knight. Let's go. Okay. Two gods from their pantheon that are vastly important to Egyptian mythology. They're aligned so that upon death, the pharaoh's soul would have a direct path to Osiris, the god of judgment. Also aligned with each other, could have used the autumnal equi-
Autumnal equinox.
autumnal equinox to achieve alignments with everything. They could have drawn the shadow from the sun during the equinox, essentially setting up the foundations for the future tomb.
Now this is important, because everybody goes, "How are they aligned? How are they aligned?" They didn't have that kind of technology back then. Yeah, they fucking did. The Egyptians were really, really good with astronomy, the Earth and the fucking sun. It was their entire religion. And
Mhm.
you're gonna see in 2017 a guy created or recreated the alignment of the pyramids using nothing but a fucking stick. But go on.
I mean, it is true. So, weren't those called dials or like sundials?
Yeah, sundials, like they invented that.
yeah, same principle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in 2017, simply using a stick, Harvard archaeologist Glenn Dash was able to achieve the perfect east-west line during the equinox. Method called the Gnomon rod. Sounds like a villain. Gnomon.
That's I still like Mastibus. But
Dude, that was the best joke in the entire podcast.
Marketing the passage of Stick's shadow. By the end of the day, he had a perfect line from east to west. Also aligned with the Machu Picchu Easter Island Nakaza lines, the lost city of Petra, and the ancient Sumerian city of Uar.
all of these are aligned with the pyramids across the globe. Uh, and they're all pretty big sites of mystery, like Machu Picchu, the Easter Island, the Sumerian city of Ur. and the
Where
Nazca
came
lines.
from?
You know, it's kind of crazy that uh, these ancient structures managed to line up with each other with civilizations that weren't fucking talking to each other.
Nice. Yeah, was that where Pikachu came from? Was the Machu Picchu?
I mean, maybe. Maybe the fucking creators of Pokemon were high on acid and heard Machu Picchu and went, Pikachu.
Okay, I think that's yeah.
So,
Well,
Alex, do you have any Stargate wisdom to drop on us for this?
Dude, don't let parasitic worms control you. Um, use your greater power and moral abilities to do good by other people. And if you ever see a ring that has a wormhole in it, I suggest stepping through it
Yeah,
because
because
you'll never know the wonders that you'll find.
that sounds pretty cool. Especially if you manage to end up on a fucking island or a planet without oxygen and die immediately.
Well, no, just know that most of the planets you visit are going to look a lot like the woods and forest of Vancouver because that is mostly where the show was shot. So just know it's going to be a lot of trees of Canada.
Are you saying that Canada is an alien place?
Yeah, sure, why not? Fucking Canucks.
You know what? I will agree with you on that. Like,
I knew my friend was an alien.
so the next 2 weeks, Crook and Murder is going to take a short break, but we will not leave you high and dry. We're going to be bringing you the next episode of the Stone Gauntlet, where Spider Dude and I are going to discuss 2023 as well as Jordan, uh, the best in anime, the best in video games, and the best in movies and TV, and the worst.
I'll
Uh,
be back.
Murder is going to be talking about the Beastie Boys Part 2 because we're going to bring you the next episode of My Brain is Hanging Upside Down. And then after that, we're going to come back swinging hard with Crook and Murder with our first of our 4-part series on Roanoke. And yes, by the end of it, there will be no confusion of where the fucking colonists went because I can probably have a pretty good guess of what happened to the Roanoke colonists. So stick around and you will too.
They went to Gotham City, and then Batman took care of them.
Sure. So, and I'm Kenny Crook Irish, and we'll see you guys next time. Keep it weird.
And I am Micah / Spider Dude / Ninja Knight, and I'll love y'all later.
And I'm special guest Alex, both existing and non-existing as a host and a special guest at the same time.
Kind of like Schrodinger's cat. He is the Schrodinger's cat of our podcast.
Yeah, that was the reference. Thanks for ruining it.
Repeating it over the head.
If you couldn't fucking figure it out before, you didn't deserve to know.
Listen, I have to explain the joke, everybody. It's Schrodinger's cat. Because he is both here and not here.
Both alive and not alive.
All right, hey Micah, great job. We really appreciate you stepping up and reading through the outline with us. Thank you. And your
Glad I was
insights-
actually able to do it.
The what?
I was glad I was able to do it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, fantastic.
And
Yeah.
spelling words wrong, like Mastaba.
You did a great job.
Dude, that killed me. And then when we got to the next line, when it said, like, it kept it growing or something like that, Jesus Christ.